being both like a sitcom fan and a Doctor Who fan, it just blended so well, especially for episode 1. And like you say, you know, we didn't focus purely on one section of Who at all. We didn't sit there and go, it's going to be about New Who, it's going to be in this kind of way. We're like, no, we absolutely reference all forms of Who.
It is a love letter
It
to
is.
not just Doctor Who, but Doctor Who fans as well.
Exactly. You know, I'd hate for Doctor Who to make its fans look stupid and take the mick out of them, Lux.
Hello and welcome to the Cinescope podcast, the show where indie filmmaking meets fandom, pop culture, and everything in between. I'm Luke Walters, and each week I'll be joined by a group of fellow creatives, writers, actors, directors, producers, everythingers, and we'll be doing a deep dive into movies, films, TV, and what really happens behind the scenes. And this week I am joined by none other than my illustrious partner in crime, to say the least, Jamie Carroll.
Hello.
Actor, theatre director Brandon McCaffrey, and all-round madman and badman Rob Peters. So, yeah, hello.
Oh, we're gonna clap for everyone. Why not?
Yeah. So this group can only be described as a group of hooligans.
Oh, that's what the courts say.
That's what the courts say. So if you didn't know, so we made a Doctor Who-inspired web series or feature film.
It's a lot.
We did
all the things with it, didn't we?
We made something inspired by Doctor Who. A web series initially, then a feature film. Award-winning. I think we won Best Screenplay, Ellie won Best Actress.
Of course.
Yeah, it's out now. You can watch it. But yeah, we made Hooligans, and this is half of the Hooligans cast. The other ones are sat behind in the gallery watching at us. They're currently waving through the window as well. So yeah, you can't say hello because no one can see. John Stewart just nearly pulled his trousers down. Oh my goodness.
John pulled his trousers down. There's a ring to that, isn't
there? Do you know what? John always dresses for the occasion.
We
just saw it then.
So first of all, yeah, Hooligans. So let's talk about it, how it come around originally, because we started as the 60th anniversary sketch.
We did.
With you dressed as a copper, ironically.
Excuse me, we were refilming An Unearthly Child is what people thought we were doing.
Well, I actually took a BTS photo of me in the police officer uniform. Then I painted a Trotter's Lane thing and stuck it round the corner from your apartment. I stuck the photo on Twitter, and that got like 400 likes or 400 retweets. And then all of a sudden people are like, are they starting a new series of Torchwood? Are they doing a new version of An Unearthly Child? And we're like, no, it's just
all of those are possible options.
Right. I didn't realise that had gone down so well, that tweet. I remember you sharing that, because I remember that day when we started it, because I hadn't seen the sign. You told me about the sign, and I was really impressed when I saw
the
it.
sign bit.
Oh, I was there for the bit when we filmed it.
He was around the corner with a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, he's with a wheelbarrow. He's right in the corner with a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. The deflated wheelbarrow.
With that poor person we kidnapped. Who was it? That's the question. That's the question. Who was it?
It was not David Tennant. That's who it was. It was not David Tennant. But yeah, I remember that because, when you put the tweet out, and then, it just went a bit mad. And after it, you stopped a crime.
I did.
Yeah.
Whilst also committing a crime at the same time.
Is this the person that was spray painting?
Yeah. So there's a scene where we recreated the opening of the very first scene in Doctor Who, where you got a police officer walking around the junkyard. So we wanted to start off in, was it 4:4?
4:3.
4:3, black and white. Then the aspect ratio opens up to colour, because that's never been done before.
Like what they do in the 50th.
Right, yeah.
We
wanted to do that, just to like hook Doctor Who fans in. On one of the takes, as I'm walking around the corner, there's a hooligan with a H, not a W, graffitiing whatever profanities on the wall over from the canal. They stopped and they did like a double take and looked at me. And I did the typical police officer, like, no, what's going on here then?
It wasn't a police officer. It was a William Hartnell.
It was,
it was the gentle stroking of the lapels.
And then they ran off and did like a head shake. So technically, I stopped a crime, but I also impersonated a police officer, allegedly.
Allegedly, we've got it on film.
There's no allegedness to it. We quite literally have it on film.
And I always say that people that impersonate the law. Oh, I shouldn't go down that route, should I? We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Well, enjoy the rest of the podcast. I'll be listening to it from inside.
No, so speaking of impersonating the law, leads us nicely to episode 1. We'll circle back a little bit, because do you remember whose idea it actually was to do this as a web series? Do you remember
to turn the pilot into a web series?
The 60th anniversary one into a web series. Do you remember whose idea it actually was, Brandon, and why it was you?
It was me. It was me. I don't even remember it being me. Was it?
Yeah.
What did I say?
No, because we're like,
I've got ADHD. I don't remember what I did yesterday. Never mind years ago.
Yeah, no, it was you. Because we had a conversation. You were like, there's a lot we can get out of these characters. We can do this, like we can do like real just the thing, just keep it. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So it kind of stuck. So yeah, Hooligans is actually your idea.
All right, I want credits. I want everything down to it. It's all me. Honestly, I don't even remember. I probably did say something like that.
I think we were in Fab.
I was going to say, how did the conversation start?
When we finished filming the first day.
Was I there? Was it during one of the Doctor Who quizzes we attended?
No, we'd
I
already
don't
started
think
creating
so.
it around that
Was
point.
it? We went out for drinks when the 60th special we did. So when the pilot, not Doctor Who, the original one we did, that was the extent of it. I think we went out for drinks after that, and that would have been a very apt time for Brandon or somebody.
No,
to
Brandon
say,
wasn't there because he went. He ditched us to go Village.
I don't ditch. I just have busy life.
So that's why that's why when he left, everything get very, very tight on you and not David Tennant, because Brandon already filmed all his bits.
Oh, Brandon had left and we were still filming me.
No, I didn't. What was I? I was doing something.
No,
You were in
that
Village
day.
at a festival.
No,
you went
me and Justin had something.
Oh, you went to Tramshed. You went to.
Oh no, we were at Home Block. We had a rave. I was at a rave.
Why
Why wasn't I there?
Because you were to film.
You were filming
Yeah, but we could have met you afterwards, couldn't we?
at the
Yeah.
rave.
Okay, let's circle back again. A bit further this time. So it was Brandon's idea to not just stop at the anniversary special we did.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the initial, because we had a chat somewhere. I think it was in Fab, and you were like, "Oh, we could do a lot with these two characters."
Oh yeah, I think I'd spoke about we can make it a bit more of a thing. And I think one of the things I'd said was I'd always wanted to do a sitcom.
Yeah,
And I was like, this is a perfect sort of thing. You know, we're not trying to recreate something that's already been done. We're trying to make something new with it while also lending itself to what Doctor Who is about. I mean, the fact that most of the jokes that we get in this have been jokes that we've even come up on days of set just because we're all Doctor Who fans.
I think that was another aspect to there's mileage in this. It's not just the characters and where can we take it, new storylines. It was the fact that we had so many in-jokes in there. As you say, we kept thinking of them in the moment.
In the moment, yeah.
That you think, to an extent, they kind of write themselves. So it made perfect sense to carry on. And I'm really glad you had that idea.
Well,
Didn't know it was your idea.
I'm glad I had
I'm
that
really glad you
idea. I
did.
didn't know I had it, but here we are.
yeah. It's a conversation we had in Fab. I can remember where we were, but I can't remember
Who else was there? What went on?
Someone was there who's not David Tennant.
Vaguely remember.
Yeah, I remember
the pitch being a British Friends, but they're Doctor Who fans,
Yes,
and then it just grew from that small seed. Then
Yeah.
there you go.
Mm.
So yeah, circling back to impersonating a police officer. So we go
why are we bringing this up again?
We'll go to episode 1.
No, not
because-
you.
No, not
Me.
you. So
Right.
You had your finest hour. Now it's time for mine.
So we'll go to episode 1.
My finest 3 hours.
Your finest 11th hour.
Yeah, that policewoman,
Dignifying
that
that
policewoman's outfit. And should we show a clip of it? Should we show a clip of it?
Why not?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not been seen enough.
So yeah, there you go. That's you dressed as the very fetching, the one shot. That was the first thing we filmed with episode
Fetching?
1.
No, fetching was the right word.
Was
Don't,
it?
don't put down
Okay,
fetching.
I have one very important question. And that important question is, was it an artistic choice not to shave your legs?
Yeah. It wasn't something that ever crossed my mind, to be honest. I think if you'd asked me, I would have thought, let's not shave them. because there's an extra bit of comedy in there. The fact that I'm not committing to the costume, it's very half-assed. The wig doesn't look great. I don't look great in it.
That wig was thirsty.
I think it would have undermined something there, but no, it wasn't a decision because I didn't even get as far as thinking about it. It was only when this was a comment, wasn't it? I think, did somebody on TikTok say something?
Someone did say something.
That was the first time it had ever occurred to me that I could have.
You should have just shaved one leg and left the other one.
Just shave
Yeah.
up to the knees. Just that's it. Or just, yeah. That could have went horrendously. But no, I think the one thing that last from that image from me is you sat by the canal, legs akimbo, just
In the
throw it. And I was just like, every time I
you
watch it, I'm
wear
In
like,
the montage sequence.
Yeah.
And that was a choice. I remember we tried the idea of my sitting cross-legged and whether that was meant to look more elegant or more believable. But there was,
you be elegant.
you showed me the shot and we agreed because there was a lot of comedy in the fact, like you say, the legs are just akimbo and I'm sat there and I don't. But in the context of the storyline, because it's obviously a serious drama at heart, right? That's what my interpretation of it. There's a real storyline there because I'm deeply upset at the absence of Russell. You know, my not life partner. What's an equivalent? Let's call him my significant other. He very much is, right? If you've
it's a
seen it,
Del by moment.
you know the relationship we have. And so I am distraught. So it is me gazing out to sea. You know, I'm like a war widow. I've lost my husband at sea, you know?
Is that why you go to a convent? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where the nun come from. I'm so sorry.
Do you know what? No, so the nun actually really works, which is really funny. So I've worked out the real correlation for this nun thing is everyone knows I'm the Big Finish bloody nerd with things like this, but River Song dresses as a nun for a load of episodes in Big Finish.
Yeah, but you can't
so he
see
technically, it doesn't matter. He technically went from Amy Pond to River Song.
But is Big Finish canon though?
Yes.
That's a whole other podcast.
Ask
That is coming up on the
Yes.
Death of Doctor Who podcast, which is in a couple of weeks.
I was going to say, you should ask that question and we should all answer on the count of three because I'm thinking it's going to be one yes from Brandon here and three
he
no's
knows.
from us.
All right, should we do it? On 1, 2, 3.
No.
Yes.
There we go. Definitive.
But
Big
yes.
Finish is not canon.
Going back to the costumes and those early episodes, the beauty for me was how we riffed off classic scenes from a new Who and B classic Who, but then we put our own comedic spin on it. At least when we approached the script, then we gave that to you guys to then run with it. So take me back to that first time when you read the first the script for the very first episodes. What was your first thoughts?
I remember enjoying it. And I remember, you know, to Brandon's point before, thinking, I can see these characters doing this. And so that point, if there'd been mileage in there, it felt like a very kind of natural next step. But I think also you had these discussions about there was a certain level of distance. It wasn't a continuation. The pilot was standalone. And this was like a new adventure, if you will. But I thought it worked. It made me laugh from the off. And I always thought you guys, and this continued throughout the whole series, you got that balance right of there are some jokes in there. Some are a bit tawdry and a bit obvious, but there's kind of that perfect. And I think this is the kind of thing I would enjoy watching if I was a fan. So yeah, I was really impressed with it straight away. I thought you guys did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I keep, to be honest, it's something I've always, I'm never going to actually do it, but in my head, I feel like one day we should have like a version of Hooligans where it does all the references that were in it.
I've thought about doing just a little
Like
compilation.
just a little thing of like
yeah.
all the references and then a clip of what it's referenced of. So I think that was my first big thing of when reading it. While it was really funny and I was going like, this is absolutely a sitcom and a moment. Being both like a sitcom fan and a Doctor Who fan, it just blended so well, especially for episode 1. And like you say, you know, we didn't focus purely on one section of Who at all. We didn't sit there and go, it's going to be about new Who. It's going to be in this kind of way. We're like, no, we absolutely reference all forms
It is
of
a
Who.
love letter
It
to
is.
not just Doctor Who, but Doctor Who fans as well.
Exactly. You know, I'd hate for Doctor Who to make its fans look stupid and take the mick out of them, Lux. So I feel like what we did was we were doing that in a way that we wanted fans to laugh along with us, but also go, look, we're laughing with you because we do all this stupid stuff, you know? Even the bits that are obviously trying to recreate scenes. Like I love your scene of the opening when you do the Matt Smith coming out of the TARDIS moment. One of my favorite lines is, I don't know, I'm still steaming. Like, I think that's brilliant because it's just so funny because any Doctor Who fan would just sit there and like, I'm still cooking. Love that. Loved it.
So yeah, leaving episode 1 alone then. Going on to episode 2, which is the one that is probably the most prolific episode out of the run, which was never really planned, to be honest. It only come about because my dog died. And thanks.
Yeah, no, I remember it being that recent.
R.I.P. lady. But yeah, it only came out because my dog died. And I know we had something planned, and I was like, what's the only way I could cheer myself up? So I was like, a Dalek, a TARDIS, and a Sontaran. Because I already knew Jamie had the Sontaran outfit because he's only like 3'2", so he's the only person that will fit it.
I'm actually 3'3" and a half.
That half an inch matters. But inch and a half matters, sorry. But yes, that episode, that entire thing only came around because my dog died. And I was
so
sad.
was there a plan for a second episode that didn't feature those?
There was, I can't remember what it was though, but that was never the initial plan.
You're swapping the episodes around, I think. As
yeah,
well.
we were changing it around because the entire season changed dramatically because the finale was originally supposed to be the Comic-Con where you have the alien come in and Russell and Billy find an undercover alien there, and then he become John Stewart's character who would be there and he'd be more masterful, and then we were like, we can't get this done, so that kind of went by the wayside, and he only became the villain of the series around episode 3ish when we were like, oh, we'll tie it in properly.
Adapting it as we were filming.
Yeah, but to be fair, we have a reference to in the finale of literally Russell being like, none of this was hinted at. When I last met you, because it wasn't meant to originally.
Yeah, in the Tales of the TARDIS episode, we wrote that bit in. But yeah, so I can't remember the original episode 2, but I wrote it. I think I wrote it the night before we shot. I think I wrote it Thursday night, and we shot on the Friday, and we shot on the Saturday. And
it would have been the Saturday was my first. No, it wasn't, because it's that first scene, isn't it, at your house where we had all the action figures out.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, that was Friday night, and Saturday was the full day.
Yeah, so I didn't write the script. I just didn't even think about starting the script till Thursday. And then as soon as I finished it, I sent you it over. And then we were shooting the Friday, all the stuff with you on the phone, writing the fan film. And then, do you remember Jamie turned up 2 hours late, drunk?
Did I?
Yeah. I wish I could say yes, but,
you
no.
did. Yeah, you were a little bit squiffy.
What was I
You
doing?
were out in town. Someone's leaving do or something. You were like, oh, I'll be there for 6. And then you turned up.
I remember you being there that night. I don't remember any shenanigans, though.
No shenanigans. You were just
I
drunk.
don't remember the visual elements of it, but I remember the feelings about being there.
Oh.
And that's what matters.
Right.
And that's another podcast.
But yeah, so episode 2, Rob, you got to approach various different aspects of the Doctor. You got to riff off Hartnell's Doctor, Tom Baker's Doctor, and then your own Doctor as well.
And Tennant. Can't forget Tennant.
Oh yeah, Tennant. But yeah, firstly, let's talk about for want of a better word, impersonations. As a performer, how much are you like replicating what you see on screen from the other performers, and how much are you bringing your own into it as well?
I like to think it was a pretty fair balance between the two, because I think, Luke, we did discuss this, and we didn't want it to be too caricature, but because you've got really fast-paced scenes, so I step out of the TARDIS 3 times as different incarnations, you have to obviously hit it from the off. You have to, visually and audibly come across as that Doctor. So the Tom Baker is the one I remember the most. So thanks mostly to our friend's wardrobe. He had, you had the scarf, obviously. Ellie made the scarf. We had the City of Death badge.
Yeah.
We had all those little nice bits of detail. I brought the hat, I think.
What I found quite interesting in your performances as the Doctors, bearing in mind you're replicating current Doctors and then also putting a spin on your own, was that you're not just playing a caricature of those Doctors, you're playing a character, playing a caricature of those Doctors. So how did you find that sort of balance in those performances?
I found it quite tricky because I think ahead and I generally worry about how things will be received, not just performance, just every aspect of my life. That's just so innate within me. I remember thinking, if you look at it in terms of YouTube, I mean, I don't use TikTok, so that wasn't even a consideration at the time. But if these are going to be out and about on social media and people are going to hopefully watch them and engage with them, you're going to have comments saying, you know, for example, that fourth Doctor hat is at a slightly, you know, different angle to how he'd wear it. And people would really pick those things apart because Doctor Who fans, right? Hashtag Doctor Who fans. So I was trying to be quite mindful of, like I say, having that balance of it's not going to come across as like a direct imitation. And that's what I think gave it that safety net of saying this is a fan's imagination. So obviously we proceeded with my saying to Russell, I'm going to write this fan fiction, and we're kind of spitballing the ideas of let's do this, no, let's do this, which makes for a real fun sequence, and it was a lot of fun to film. But I was worried that it was going to look like I was doing an impersonation, like trying to be too direct with it, and had therefore failed. So like I said, it gave me that safety net to say, well, this is a fan's interpretation, and every fan will have their own sort of favorite moments or preferred costumes or whatever.
Yeah, because we had a conversation on set when we like, we don't want you to be like an impersonator doing it. It's, yeah, he's a fan doing it. It's supposed to be a fan film, so we can get away with
what I think I tried to channel was the idea of, if you think about a fan at a convention, somebody meets Sylvester McCoy and they're a diehard Seventh Doctor fan, they probably have a fairly accurate version of the costume on, but they would certainly be doing those kind of poses for the photo opportunity. So that's kind of, they're operating at 100%, I am impersonating you here. And like you say, Luke, we wanted to make sure it wasn't to that extent. It was reined in because it was a fan's interpretation of it.
So how was it working with the Dalek, the TARDIS, the Sontaran, as a Doctor Who fan? Because I was over the moon that day. So... I thought this is one of the coolest things I've made. I had all the fun.
I was going to say, yeah, as a performer, seeing those props, how did that sort of like change how you approached your performance?
I don't know that it did, to be fair. I mean, to the point before, it was really exciting seeing them on set. I'd seen TARDISes before, props. I don't know if I've seen a prop that's actually been used because I haven't really been to many conventions and things. But I think that was the first time I kind of was able to step into and out of a TARDIS. And of course, that's really thrilling to the point where you think, never mind about the cameras rolling. Let's just have fun with this. Let's do this as an experience for me. Like, we're not here with a job to do. And likewise with the Dalek. And that Dalek in particular was so special because it was a new series kind of build, wasn't it? It was a bit kind of chunkier. But it had, you know, the white and gold. So it was kind of like a Necros Dalek or a Remembrance Dalek.
Oh, yeah.
And it just looked incredible. And I remember vividly as it was being, you know, painstakingly kind of put together so we could start filming. I was just kind of pinching myself thinking, I can't believe we're here and doing this. This is so much fun.
So how was it a big finish? Obviously, because you were at the live recording with Paul McGann.
I mean, yeah, that was pretty damn cool too, to sit and watch a big finish done live.
I was going to say, Brandon, how do you feel about working with Doctor Who props?
Well, I got to in the finale at least. Slightly.
I was in a film with Colin Baker.
Excuse me.
He's not our prop, okay? He's an actor.
I mean, we got you a Doctor Who scarf on a sonic screwdriver.
True,
what more do you want? I mean, Stop being a diva.
I still feel like, you know, if we just go back, we reshoot episode 2, and I'll just come out in different companions' outfits. I think I'd look great in Perry's.
So he come up with a good ending for episode 2 not long ago.
You want to bi-generate me?
No, a couple of weeks ago when he was like, "Oh, wouldn't it have been bad if we did Rob regenerate into Brandon at the end?"
And then no, I'm not doing
And then
this.
his character would have been like, "Oh no, that's a load of rubbish. I would never write that." And I was like, "Oh yeah," but Brandon wasn't available. So
well, Brandon wished he was. Brandon got a lot of messages and photos on set, and literally sat there being like, "Yeah, well, I'm gonna go see Paul McGann now. I want to be with the Dalek."
Also, we could do a perfect tribute to the final scene in the reality war, and we could have your head pasted onto my shoulders.
Hello there.
And then when we have the inevitable fan comment where they say, "Well, that wasn't very well done, was it?" We'd say, "Go and tell RTD and the team," because we're just following in their footsteps, right?
So the online reaction to this has actually been very different to what I expected, because it's not. I thought it would hit like the fan film audience. But it's kind of missed
the other side of it, the side that you usually skip the fan films.
Yeah, it's gone a really, really different way. And everyone's like really, really positive about it, especially episode 2, obviously, but because of the props and stuff. But
because we expended our payload on the second episode.
yeah, we
You
literally
wonder why the rest of the ones were just set in one building or the cabin.
Yeah, that flat's gone now. The hooligan set has been struck. It's gone. Big.
That's because Disney didn't renew.
Yeah. But yeah, the online
To be
reaction.
fair, the set was a little shaky and wobbly anyway, wasn't
I
it?
liked
So
a
we
bit of
needed
wobble.
we needed a new one.
God. Yeah, online reaction. Like, how do you think it's been perceived online? Because we see now, especially not so much the web series. I think the feature film version has just come out of nowhere, and loads of people are attaching themselves to it. And you see fans posting in like the Ian Levine group and other Doctor Who groups, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. But yeah, the web series have been up for like a couple of months at this point, and you're like, where were you like 3 months ago when all this was out? Like, so, but yeah, how do you think it's just gone down online? Like, how do you perceive it?
I think it's come down really well. I think we sort of knew we had something, we knew we had something that was going to be different, that people were going to like, that we knew that if we enjoy it as fans, and hopefully other fans are going to enjoy. But I agree with you in the weird way that I think we thought it was going to hit those fan film audiences. We thought fan film people are going to be like all over this, but it's regular Doctor Who fans that have like gone over it more. Especially because quite a few people, and obviously we're moving away from episode 2 stuff, but like quite a few people then would turn around and be like, oh my God, I love him as the Doctor. Like they loved your version of your version on its own.
Yeah, but then I think that was probably more born out of the fact that fan films offer a new take on the Doctor.
True.
And that plays into the obvious advantage that character has of they can be anyone, they can look a certain way, talk a certain way, have different attributes. I try not to see many of the comments, and in terms of TikTok and things, I'm not there, so I don't see them. But the couple I have seen that I quite like, because they strike a chord with me, is that people enjoy the classic references.
Yeah, very much
and
so.
it's not to say that, I haven't added them all up. There's umpteen classic references and new references.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people like the idea that, my expectation was it was going to solely focus on, maybe like David Tennant, Matt Smith era.
Yeah.
And obviously it was kind of an unspoken thing, but we knew it would be heavily influenced by classic Who, because that's who we were.
There's more of it.
Well, yeah, and it's better. Definitively.
All right, we'll not go that far, can't I?
That's another podcast for another day. Yeah, moving on. So the finale. So we riffed on yesterday ever so slightly. Actually, we did the reality war on Wishworld before they did.
No, we did.
We even did the regeneration the same day,
Yeah.
essentially. So yeah, the finale was a bit of a mad one, because originally that wasn't the plan. It was the Comic-Con plan.
Yeah.
But then we got Mr. Martin, Dominic G. Martin, the purple curator, that someone named. That's not one of us. I think
There was a comment that named him.
Yeah,
as such,
I think
and
he
I
was
thought we
just
named him the
stuck.
Purple Curator.
No, he
No.
was
Is he
just
not in the credits.
No,
that's
but
it.
now he is, but it was at we screened episode 1 and we screened episode 1 at VWARP in Britain's Protection, and I think, is it Jenny
Potentially,
Sher, I think it was.
Yeah, might have said
So she
something.
was like, "Oh, nice to see the purple curator,"
Yeah.
and she said on Twitter, and I was like, "I wish I thought of that."
Yeah, 'cause
No, but as far as I'm
We
concerned,
have.
that is an existing. That's like a trademark.
The-
another character he's
the original
played.
plan
He
was
plays
Oh, he's
just
the Purple Doctor.
Yeah,
Oh,
in another fan
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
The plan was just Dom was up here filming for something else, and whilst he was here, we got
What was he
him a
up here
cameo.
filming for, Jay?
It's another series.
What series was it
I won't
specifically?
say it because it's different.
No, I'd like to hear. But really, what is it you're up to?
It's called Slime Agent. It's on YouTube.
Slime Agent.
But no, so Dom was
Slime
up here
Agent.
filming another series, and we thought, whilst he's up here, we'll get him a cameo in.
I know, and I had
Hooligans
a
and,
haircut and everything that we
Yeah,
had
it
to
was-
suddenly fit into this.
Because
And-
originally that cameo was for episode 3, and it's your character's looking for him again, looking for Billy
But
again.
the plot beat suited
Yeah,
episode one
that's-
more.
yeah,
That's
in,
why I
in
said to him, I
post,
was like,
you
let's
fixed it in post,
let's
didn't you?
just shift her over, even though you've got a haircut and stuff. And it's
And to be
like,
fair, it slightly works because we're sat slightly in the dark, so you can't
Yeah.
tell just that much. It's just mostly my parents that have watched it and gone, "Your hair's been cut short," and I'm like, "Yes, mother, I know, thank you."
But again, that
Wibbly
scene
wobbly.
was like an additional
Tiny,
scene written in
hairy.
as a bit of fun, give Dom a cameo, and just to give your character that push to finding Rob's character. And then obviously Luke decided to take it one step further and bring this character back and inject a bit of mystery into the character, and that's where the Purple Curator came from. So Luke, was it the inspiration from the feedback from Dom's cameo that spurred you on to then bring him back for further
It
episodes.
wasn't originally Dom. Dom wasn't slated to come back. It was someone else that we had in mind, but they couldn't do it for X, Y, Z reasons. Z, American. Oh, I've been hanging out with you too long. But yeah,
Howdy ho.
It wasn't Dom. Dom wasn't coming back originally. It was someone else, but they couldn't do it. So I spoke to Dom and I was like, well, I'm just going to tweak this scene and then in the end I was like, well, this actually makes more sense it being Dom instead of some other guy.
We've already seen him.
I was like, this makes more sense. Why didn't I think of this in the first place? I was eating a Sunday dinner at the time somewhere in Yorkshire. It was actually quite nice, and I was like, yep, cool. But yeah, that was it. And yeah, I think the acting in that one, I think the acting in those 2 episodes is my favorite of both of yours. I think you're not doing, quite silly, quite comedic. I think it's 2 quite serious episodes. They're probably the 2 most serious episodes there.
Yeah.
It's a real gear change, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I guess that was the idea, because it's a finale, so kind of shit gets real.
It has that gravitas, yeah.
Yeah, especially the scenes with you and John Stewart as well, talking about, people have seen the clips as well. We put it out and people are like, when your character goes like, it's the reason we get out of bed in the morning. And you do that monologue about like being such a fan and what it means to you. And people have seemed to have caught on to that quite well, and I thought that was portrayed very, very well. And then you just got John Stewart acting like a complete maniac opposite you, and that laugh will forever be embedded in my head.
Oh, that laugh never leaves.
There you go. And your scene with Ellie in the second episode as well, in the finale, sorry, when it's you 2 on the couch and you say Dr. Watt like 25,000 times.
Very cold performance.
Yeah. Considering how your character has been up until then, it's like complete tonal shift as well. And yeah, I thought that's the strongest acting I've seen both of you do, and for a while.
Yeah, well, it was a real joy, that, because Ellie and I hadn't had the opportunity to. We had worked together before, but within Hooligans, because in the first episode, I'm obviously, I get kicked out, I leave, and then Ellie's character moves in. So you guys had a bit more interplay, but that for me, I think, was the first time that obviously we'd had the fever dream where I'm the Doctor and she's companion. That was a lot of fun as well. But it was nice having that kind of serious scene where we're addressing what's gone wrong in the world. Ellie knows what's gone wrong in the world. I don't. I'm completely oblivious to it because my mind has been wiped thanks to that dastardly Roger.
And speaking of that, this is the end of part 1. Just firstly, let's say thank you to Brandon and Rob for joining us. In the second part, we will be joined by Mr. Roger himself, Jonathan Stewart, and Jodie, Elizabeth Coverdale. They will be with us. So thanks for that. We'll see you in part 2.
Right then. Glad that's sorted. Where to next?
How about Barcelona? Doctor, what's that noise?
I don't know.
Dalek!
What do you want this time?
You will be exterminated! Exterminate!
Doctor! Doctor, what's happening?
I'm regenerating. Goodbye, old friend.
Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the Hooligans chat. I'm here with Jonathan Stewart. John Stewart. I'm so sorry, Jonathan.
It's only been friends for a long time.
Actor's name, darling, actor's name. So I'm here with John Stewart, who plays Roger, and I'm here with Elizabeth Coverdale, who plays Jodie. So welcome to it's quite air-conditioned. It's getting quite cold in here now, actually. I'm going to turn the aircon up a bit after this, actually. It's a bit freezing. So yeah, Hooligans. So you joined quite early. You joined quite late.
Mm-hmm.
So what were your first impressions of joining it? And because obviously the pilot had already been around.
Mm-hmm.
Had you seen it? And yeah, what were you thinking when you first come on, or when we first asked you?
Well, I just first met you guys in the bar at 53.2 in Manchester and just got chatting loosely to you guys because I knew I'd seen War of the Worlds.
Oh yeah, when I left you there for an hour.
Yeah.
I was late.
At Fab?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, different
How
time.
many times did you leave him late?
Funny enough.
Every time we agreed. No.
Always. He was sat in it was the Doctor Who quiz we did, which we have a Doctor Who quiz team name. It's the MPs of Flydale North.
Champions of
excellent.
Manchester twice.
We're 2 out of 2. And John was coming with us, and he was there an hour before me. because I was waiting around.
But hang on, like you're saying an hour before me as if I had decided to turn up an hour
no,
early.
he was on
I
time.
was on time.
He was perfectly on time. I was
sitting there like I've never
Shocking.
met this guy in the flesh properly, and let's
Yeah.
come and
Timekeeping's not your strongest point, is it?
No, well, there's a thing in South Wales called Luke time, where if they want me to come at a certain time, they tell me to arrive. Like, if you want Luke there by 1, tell him to be there by 12.
I wish I'd known that.
Yeah,
That
but
would've
he
been
was
different.
sat opposite Rob the entire time,
Right.
and he didn't know each
Yeah.
other, obviously.
So that's first impressions of us then.
Yeah.
late.
And then how did you
Late.
then decide to take up the role?
Doctor Who is a powerful drug. Yeah, I've just been such a kind of fan of Doctor Who, of New Who. Like, you guys know this. I've barely watched a single thing pre 2005. But I've been such a like closet fan, like secretly watching it like for so many years, and then all of a sudden I discovered you guys, and it was like, oh my god, like I'm gonna go and gravitate towards them. And then you were making a web series around Doctor Who, and I was like, hot, like this is kind of dream scenario here. So I had to be involved. So I was absolutely delighted to be offered. Yeah.
So so with you joining Hooligans, you joined quite late, but I think your character come around because we screened the 60th pilot, not Doctor Who. We screened it at Stockport Garrick Film Festival, and there was someone there. I think the boys might remember, but there was a fan there who come up and she was like, "Oh, I loved it. I'm a big Doctor Who fan. I love it, but it's all males. Like you need a female character into it." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't think of that actually." So so when we come around to writing episode 1, because originally you were only supposed to be in episode 1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then I think you're in every episode, kind of.
Bar 1.
No, you are in. No, you are, but you're in a flashback.
Bar number 3.
Yeah, you're in the previously of.
Yeah.
But yeah, considering you're supposed to be in 1 episode and then you're in all 6.
Yeah.
So as a massive Doctor Who fan as you are, because it is very well known that you are a Doctor Who fan, what were your impressions joining it? Did the jokes make sense?
Well, I will say the jokes mostly went over my head.
There were
but-
jokes?
I have seen, before being in Hooligans, I had seen like a few, mainly Matt Smith ones, probably. I'd also
Because I was
seen.
making her watch them.
No, this was actually before, but one of them was Love and Monsters, so maybe that's why I didn't get too
Oh.
far in.
Oh, it's the Phoenix Night at PK.
Yeah, I kind of watched ones where it was parts of history that I liked or actors that I liked. I think it was in lockdown I started watching a few. But yeah, maybe Love and Monsters put me off a little bit. But yeah, most of the jokes did go over my head, but as we got into it, I felt like I was kind of getting the references a bit more.
So did you mind being, because originally you were only the 1 episode, as I said, so did you mind coming back and then doing all the other 5 essentially? Or were you just like, I wish I just did the 1 and dipped, like?
No, I did enjoy doing the other ones, especially, funnily enough, episode 2 was probably my favourite one, which is arguably the most Doctor Who out of all of them. But yeah, I did enjoy, and it was nice to work with John because I hadn't worked with you before Hooligans. No, so that was nice.
I think
and I enjoy working with the others.
The cheat that we did was that we made your character like an old Doctor Who fan. Is that you stopped watching it, so we didn't really need to add references in for.
Well,
her
she was a
character.
Trekkie. Her character was a,
exactly.
Yeah, her
she's a
character was a
Trekkie, so
Trekkie.
we bypassed
Yeah.
that. And then what I loved was that as the series went on, and your character got more involved in this Doctor Who inspired world, you're like, I am a Doctor Who fan now, and I'm using Doctor Who to empower me and save the world.
Yeah.
So talk us through the hero journey of your character.
Well, I thought it was quite good, especially in the finale. My character was almost like the Hermione in terms of Rob's character kind of gets all the credit, but it's Jodie
Who's
who actually
leading,
comes up
yeah.
with the ideas. So I thought it was quite good that you didn't make her like a damsel in distress. You made her actually, stand up for herself, kind of save the day, even though they got the credit, which I thought was quite a good spin on it.
Best adventure ever.
Yes.
And he did nothing. He threw us at Tuma.
That I told him to do.
Yeah, you did, yeah. So speaking of costumes and stuff, so obviously I think...
I'm wearing one now.
Yeah, I think it's from episode 2?
From episode
Yeah, it's from
2,
episode
yeah.
2, yeah. Other t-shirts are available. So you made a lot of the costumes.
I did,
for
yeah.
it, and I think some fans have clicked on, some fans have not, and we kind of mentioned it. So yeah, do you want to show us what you made and actually go through it? So a business is Yorkshire Knitted on Instagram, or your YouTube channel is linked below if you want to go see how she makes the stuff. So yeah, if you want to just show us through some stuff.
I think this was the first thing that was probably seen.
Which was my birthday present, by the way.
Yes. So this is David Tennant, which is crocheted, which I guess is not a costume, is more of a prop. But I think that was the first one of mine that appears. Yeah, he can be front and center.
We have to get him a little mic.
Yes.
It's like no one touch your drinks now. Or he's going.
And then I made the iconic Tom Baker scarf. I made this on my knitting machine, which I have an process of video on my YouTube channel. If you
How
do
long
want
is
to
the
watch
scarf?
I overshot it by about 6 foot. So close.
Which is great because the original scarf was overshot as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Allegedly. And now you've overshot it even more.
Yeah.
So it carries on. And how long did that take to make?
I didn't really time it, but I would say it was probably, I guess, probably like an hour per foot. So probably like 20. Probably like a full day if I did it all in one go.
Wow. Hang on, so it's 20 feet long.
24 foot, yeah.
You got to wrap it round a
There's
few times.
six of me, we measured it.
Blimey.
Yeah.
That's how we worked it out. Again, that was a birthday present.
26
as well.
Bernards. Sorry. That was a unit of measurement. Sorry.
Love it.
Oh,
At least you didn't do a Welsh accent. That's the main thing.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to attempt that.
No. No, good. Yeah, and the tops as well, because you had one inspired by Shooty, which I think people have clicked on, but the other one less so.
Yeah, this one, I really loved it in the episode that I saw. I know a lot of people don't like that he changes costume so much, but I kind of like it. And I really loved this.
Controversial.
So I made this on my knitting machine. It kind of doesn't fit, but
ironically, that's in episode 1 when she doesn't like Doctor Who, and she says, "Oh, I'm watching since David Tennant," and she's in a Shooty inspired top.
Yeah.
And then in the finale,
I don't think most people have noticed this, probably because I didn't really stick with the normal color scheme. I kind of just did it inspired by Jodie, and I am wearing a jacket over the top. This is my Jodie Whittaker inspired finale top, which I think is a bit more of a subtle one than the Shooty one, which is a bit out there. Yeah,
that's very good. Yeah, very, very good. And I think a lot of fans clicked on to the Shooty one, but less so about the Jodie one, which is ironic as well because her character gets into Doctor Who watching Legends of the Sea Devils, which is ironically one of the worst episodes made according to fans and some places. So it's quite ironic. But going towards the villain now. So I think we mentioned earlier that originally the plan for the finale changed quite a lot. So your character come in as a kind of pseudo, because you wrote it, then you were off to America, weren't you? You wrote his introduction episode.
I did, yes.
Which had to change dramatically.
Which was loosely inspired by Love and Monsters. It was sort of like a riff on that episode. Not that it needed it, because it riffs itself. But so you play, say, a version of your character which isn't a villain at that point. And talk us about how you when you got the scripts, because you mentioned before you're a huge Doctor Who fan. This is your first sort of moment on a fan-made Doctor Who set. What was your thought process going through? Did you know at the time it was a Love and Monsters episode? Inspired episode.
I definitely got that, and I can't remember now the order of everything, because this has happened over so many months, and it feels like ages since we shot it. But I'm pretty sure you did let me know initially that I'm going to be the big villain.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
But then I can't remember what the explanation was around like episode 3 happening and then being a bit of a reveal, because I think when I got it, I was a little bit initially like, oh, hang on. But then I quite enjoy the fact that you're just playing not a different character, but a riff on it. And you're getting to play a little bit and just be this, I don't know, this nerd exploring aliens in Tesco car park. Who's a bit of a doddery character and this and that and the other, but then to come back now when you watch it as a whole, I'm like, I really enjoy that.
So what prep work did you do leading up to, because you said you've seen New Who, but you haven't really seen much of Classic Who at that point. So I know you were going through starting Classic Who from scratch, if that's correct.
Yeah.
But you didn't want to spoil any future episodes, did you? So how did you approach the role to bring multifaceted versions of the Master?
Yeah, because obviously I got the script for episode 3, and then I really liked the fact that it was just this plant of a bit of a slightly, not a different character, but he had the essence of the Master who was going to be revealed later. And obviously I was well aware with the whole the 3-part Time Lord, 3-part finale to series 3, and you've got the Master coming in and then turning into John Sim and this and that and the other. So I really liked that aspect of it. But I didn't know any pre-John Sim Masters. Like, I've known everyone since him. So I did come to you guys and ask for a few little just examples of episodes I could watch. There was one with a bowler hat floating and Roger Delgado was in it. I watched a little bit of that. I didn't watch the whole thing. But then I also, when it got to the finale and I knew that I was going to be fully mastered, so to speak, like I was going to be taking on my full form in all of its drama and glory, I knew that the opening line about I always dress for the occasion was apparently a big deal to Whovians, which I didn't know at the time. So I just Googled the Master's entrance from the Doctor Who movie 95, 6?
Yeah, it's the Paul McGann. Yeah.
The Paul McGann.
The Enemy Within.
The 1996 TV movie.
The 96 TV
The
movie,
Enemy
there we
Within.
go. Mm-hmm. The Enemy Within, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what the other title is called. It's either called Doctor Who the TV movie or The Enemy Within.
That is niche. If that was post 2005, I'd probably know that. But
I think it is.
No, you're right. It is, yeah.
But so I practiced, like, when he comes down the stairs, like, oh, I always dress, and like the thing he was doing with his body when it came down it. So I really wanted to, as soon as my Master in all his glory arrived on screen, I didn't want the costume and the goatee to do all the work. I wanted the performance to kind of deliver it as well. So that's how I kind of got into it a little bit.
Well, talking about costumes, so, there's been a theme of this series is that Luke just pulls these Doctor Who props and costumes out of thin air. I mean, what pet died when you got the Gallifreyan costume?
I don't know, really. I don't know.
But yeah, being a lifelong Doctor Who fan and being very excited to appear in a Doctor Who fan series, to then all of a sudden wear this Gallifreyan robes and costume, that must have felt amazing.
I was absolutely like, I mean, you guys were there, like.
It was just there.
It was just there.
It was literally just down the corridor.
Like kid on Christmas Eve. Like I'm 38 in a few weeks. I just felt like I was 12 years old. And Doctor Who wasn't even on when I was 12 years old. But I was so excited because I've watched these shows a million times. 2005 to now, I've watched them so many times, and they're just ingrained on my brain. And then when all of a sudden, this random guy I've met in theatre scene in Manchester, and all of a sudden I'm dressed as the Master, I thought I was going to lose my mind. But the worst, when I got here and we'd already put shaved the beard in and made myself look as much as I could like Delgado, I remember I really got excited and I wanted to try it on, of course. So I had I don't think I had the cloak bit on yet, and you just want to try the headdress on because that's like the most Time Lord thing in the world, right? Everyone's milling around getting cameras sorted, it's very frantic, like everyone's trying to do what they're doing, and I just want to try that headdress on because I'm so excited, like kid on Christmas Eve vibes. And I just ran over and I got the headdress. I could not for the life of me get it on my head, and for a good, I'd say 15 minutes I kept that from everyone in the room because I was so terrified that for some reason, because it wasn't bendy, it's quite a rigid.
Yeah, it's fiberglass.
Fiberglass. I thought that because for whatever reason my head was too big or my shoulders or my neck, I was like, I'm going to be sent home. I'm not going to be able to play the Master. They're going to recast it. And I was just
with a smaller head.
I was just like, oh, Jamie's been the Sontaran. He's going to be the flipping Master now. It's all going. But I just had to tilt it a slightly different way and go in like diagonally, but I was trying to put it on like a hat. So I was desperately trying to fit it on my head and it wasn't working at all. And I think, Ellie, you eventually came in and saved the day.
I think you came over and was like, can't get it on. What do I do? And I was like, you have to put it on like
Yeah, because he asked me at one point, he's like, oh, how do I put this on? I was like, I don't know. And walked off. And then just like,
Yeah,
He's having this really traumatic moment.
I really thought, I was like, oh, right, the director, he's doing something else. I was like, okay. So yeah, it was a bit of a sketchy warm up to it, because all I wanted to be in that costume, and I wanted to be terrorizing the Doctor and living my childhood dreams.
yeah, so Rob just messaged me saying he's the one that solved the headdress problem. So massive shout out to Rob for doing that for us.
Thank you, Rob.
Who's watching in the gallery.
Yes, the Doctor always saves the day, doesn't he?
I remember coming back one day, because that day was absolutely freezing. I remember, because we were doing all your stuff first, and obviously I remember coming in at one point and Rob was sat by the table, just like with the Sontaran helmet on his head, but nothing else. He had clothes on.
Right. Well, you did sell that very differently.
No, but he was just
nothing but a bow tie.
He was just sat at the table and the telly was on. He was just sat there, and Ellie was like, "Yeah, he hasn't moved in like 5 minutes." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then just went back. But yeah, that was fun. But yeah, I spoke to the other boys about like the online reaction to it as well. And I guess this is your first foray into it, because I don't know how like ingrained you are in Doctor Who fandom, but
not at all.
Yeah. So how has the online reaction been for you to it? Because people tend to enjoy your version of the Master, really. And obviously we screened it in Liverpool at the Merseyside Doctor Who group, and yeah, people there were saying they really enjoyed it. So and people were saying they really enjoyed Jodie as well. And the girl who said to you like, "Oh, you know, I watched episode 4 today. That was my favorite one." And yeah, so how's the online reaction been for you? And especially because you're not a Doctor Who fan, so you're just like, yeah, cool.
Well, I think in Liverpool that was really surreal, because this lovely girl, bless her, she came and sat next to me for a while, and then all of a sudden she was like, "Sorry, I've been building up the courage to come and talk to you." I was like, "I'm just nobody. Like, you don't need to build up the courage." But it was very kind thing to say that she likes my episode. But yeah, I've never been recognised before, so it was really strange, but very kind, very nice.
Yeah, and then for yourself, John.
Yeah, when it comes to Doctor Who fandom and the online stuff, before I met you guys, I'd never watched a single thing or knew any of it really existed. But most of my knowledge of the feedback to my Master has just been through, every now and then there'll be in our WhatsApp group, there'll be a screenshot. Hey, look at this comment, guys. This is great. And it's obviously, as an actor, you want, it's not so much craving that acceptance, but you are kind of, you want people to enjoy what you're putting out there. And this was a little bit of a different level, because not only am I a big Doctor Who fan post 05, and I really wanted to not egg all over the screen, but obviously there's people who are me on like times 100 in terms of Doctor Who and fandom, and people devote their lives to these online forums and web series and podcasts and the whole Whoniverse that's out there, which I really hadn't set foot in before. So you do kind of feel that extra level of pressure that those people who, and you saw it in Brandon's speech in the finale episode about, I mean, I love Doctor Who, but I know it's a whole range of fandom out there, and what this show means to people, and how it's lasted for so many decades. And so for people like your Brandon or your Russells, and people who really do adore this show, and the characters are so rich and so important to them, to know that it's going down well with them it's like, right, and breathe. I've done what I set out to do, really.
Nice. Are you happy with Hooligans? I haven't asked you.
What's that?
I haven't asked you, are you happy with Hooligans? You like hear then everywhere. Like 1 minute you're in America, then yeah. Are you happy with it?
It's all right, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Next
all right.
question.
Yeah.
No, I mean, when you were doing edits, I was like being a backseat driver.
You were lying on my bed.
I was lying in your bed.
You were lying on my bed.
It was a really comfy bed.
It was, yeah. It's
Yeah.
gone now.
And they were just, every now and then, I'd just chirping with something. And Luke's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then 5 minutes later, he dwells on it. It's like, I've got a really cool idea. Look at this. And then he's like, well done, Luke. I'm really proud of you.
Because I'm some like middle-aged Englishman going, of course. No, yeah. So you're happy with it?
I'm very happy with it. I think it's been fun working with yourself on a fan-made project, considering that a few years ago you would never, ever lean into this space at all. So you've come a long, long way.
You sound like a proud dad.
I am a proud
It's like,
dad.
You've come a long, long way,
A
Luke.
long,
I'm
long
proud
way.
of you.
I'm proud of you, son.
Hey up, lad. I'm
And
proud of you,
the
lad.
fact that we had like a pub quiz team that became our cast members and then our friends.
Yeah.
So it's been an evolution.
Did he turn up on time? Or
He never turns up on time.
okay,
Even
yeah,
when I knock on his door, he's in his pajamas half the time the morning of a shoot.
That is very true. Yeah, that is very
And
true.
are you happy with it?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
There we
It's
go.
not too bad.
We've put.
I like inadvertently. I like the feature film version a little bit more. I think it's such a weird version that because it never meant to
It's
be.
quite dreamlike, which I love.
Yeah, because obviously you could tell it's not a feature film. It was never made to be a feature film, but it just works as like a Tales of the TARDIS esque special, and I think that's work, and that's the one that fans seem to gravitate to, not the web series, which is really annoying.
At what point did you have an idea for the feature? Was it after we filmed most of it, or did you go back and tinker?
No, so it was for the film festival in Ireland.
Yeah.
Because I had an idea in mind that we needed to screen it there, that I wanted to show it there. And I think that's why I made Brandon like add on a little bit, like one line of when we were doing the scene, and he was asking Rob's character, "Oh, what are you doing tomorrow?" And he's like, "Oh, I got something to write." And that was the only like connective tissue there, because all the others you can jump and they kind of lean in towards each other, but that's the only bit we added. But yeah, I thought if we're going to screen it in Ireland,
Which is the May the 4th Film Festival.
yeah,
Amazing,
shout out to
guys.
Dave and everyone over there. But yeah, I was like, if we're going to screen it in Ireland, they're going to screen the entire thing. I don't want to be like, credits closing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, and Tales of the TARDIS were coming out, and I was like, let's do a Tales of the TARDIS. And you was shot in this escape room in Warrington.
Yes.
And as
For
soon as I
another
was
web series that we won't mention.
as soon as I was sat in it, I was like, I can use this. I was like, cool, okay.
Because
So
you were looking for a TARDIS console room as well.
yeah, I was. Yeah, so I messaged a couple of people and it didn't work out. But then I found that one, and
The
yeah,
guys are really nice, and they
yeah, they
allowed
were
us
really,
to
really
use
good as
it.
well. Really kind of them to let us use it. So I really like the feature film version as well. So I think that's where it come from, just to be randomly
For
screened
me,
in Ireland.
It was very nostalgic because I used to watch Doctor Who and UK TV Gold in the very early 90s. And back then you had weekly episodes. And then you had I think they did like Monday to Friday. You had the weekly episodes. Sorry, the daily episodes. Weekly when it was first broadcast. And then they did like an omnibus version. And that's what Hooligans very much feels like, that UK TV Gold period, where you've got your weekly episodes and then you got the full version as well, which I thought was rather fun.
Yeah, it's quite nice. It's quite nice. So right, I'm going to call it there. So that is it. That is it. That is the story of how we made the Hooligans. They're all hooligans. So, but yeah, thank you, Chicken. Elizabeth, thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Jonathan Chewett, or John Chewett, or Roger, or whatever you want to call him.
Whatever you want.
He normally answers to I. Yeah.
Yes.
No, thank you for coming along today in the very cold studio. And yeah, thanks to Rob and Brandon as well for being on part one and who's currently watching and not waving. There they go, they're waving. Yeah. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And we will see you next week on the next episode. Who knows what that will be? Who knows?